Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Five Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network, as well as my YouTube channel. I am Scott Edwards, and with me today to start off our podcast here is none other than Peps to talk the Stardom Korakuen and all the fallouts from that. Peps, welcome back to the show.
Hi everyone, I'm back. I asked to be on the show because, well, I wanted to talk about a main event because
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe the biggest match in Stardom history in terms of online hype I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, for sure. I think when it comes to the hype this match received and the eyes that were on the match itself in real time, I'd have to agree. And obviously, as we know now, it is leading to arguably the biggest match in Stardom history for various reasons, but we'll talk about that later on once we get to the match itself. But of course, we are going to talk a little Stardom here today. The whole show outlook for everyone wondering is Peps will join me here for the Stardom review side of things. We'll talk about the New Blood show, the Korakuen show. There will be no word of the Chiba show because it didn't air. Um, the only thing that happened there was Konami officially challenged Starlight Kid, but we know that's now official. So we'll talk about that maybe just a little bit. But most of this will, of course, be about Tam and Saya. After that, I'll welcome on another guest to talk the Cinderella tournament, which will be on the MP3 version of the show, but not the um, video version because the video will be up on YouTube in its own thing. And I'll talk about all the other things going on in Joshi from
I
Sendai Girls to Marigold to Sareee-ISM and all that good stuff.
I
Um,
just want to add Ruaka's winning the Cinderella. Thank you.
I I was doing my bracket last night for the audio, and I was very undecided on what made sense. And essentially, I decided on whoever wins between Sayaka Kurara and Ruaka is probably going to win, which is a fascinating reality to live in. But I won't
Yeah.
spoil that uh, for later. But yeah, it's a very interesting bracket. But let's talk about obviously New Blood real quick here. There's not much to talk about for New Blood. I thought the show overall was fine. Not like your runaway show for in terms of the New Blood level of quality. I think this was kind of in line with the middle ground of shows. You had Sayaka Kurara defeat Miku Kane, which was a fine short match. There's not too much there to talk about. You also had Hanori Hana and Maria Kuga from Seedling face off against Rina and Ruaka. This was a pretty good match, I thought. Rina and Ruaka getting the win here. It was very funny watching Rina obviously have the big Starlight Kid title match and then going on to this little New Blood show. I thought that was just a very funny back to back matches. I really like Rina and Ruaka as a duo. I was thinking about that watching this match. I think I also like Ruaka with Tora, but honestly, I just kind of want them to get a title match, them being Ruaka and whoever they decide. If that is Tora, I'm all for it. I think them versus Wingor would be great. And I also think if they wanted to run with Rina and Ruaka ever sometime down the line, they'd be a great duo as well. But do you have any thoughts about the Seedling crew coming in for New Blood?
I mean, they're really talented.
Yeah.
Honori Hana coming back from her retirement has brought some kind of life to the empty seedling world that we have seen once Sareee lost the belt and everything. That she's now the one that's kind of stepping up in the mid
Mhm.
card scene. Arisa, not Sareee leaving, even though
Yes.
Sareee
Yes.
is also like gone from the shows right now.
Yeah.
Um, so she's like the one that's getting some kind of focus with the Ruaka feud on the undercards, and it's always been like they had a singles match on in a Shinju Cafe show that went like 6 minutes or something, and it was like really
Yeah.
fun. The main event
Yes.
was better, like no doubt about it, with the Hara Veni feud is really hard, but Honori Hana, and also like Miria Koga in the rookie spots, they are bringing what I want from Seedling. So
Yeah.
them coming over to Stardom has been fun, and that was like a really fun match for New Blood show. That
Yeah.
was, in my opinion, uneventful.
Yeah, I like the continuation of the Honori Ruaka feud. I think it's a fun thing for Ruaka. I also think that it kind of shows people what hate is really good at when they're outside of Stardom,
Yeah.
because they feel like invaders that everyone, no pun intended, hates from the other shows. You know, you kind of see it in Wave, obviously with Kamitani. You see it now here with Ruaka, who continuously is doing these seedling dates. I'd like to see them get a singles match that goes even longer than 6 minutes. I think there's something there, certainly between the two. But yeah, this was a fun match. I thought ultimately, I think this is the most fun match, or the match I enjoyed the most on the actual card. Though we will talk quickly here about the tournament final as well. They did a one-night tournament. Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori defeated Kaori Yanayama and Rian, and then Rana Yagami and Hina defeated Kira Kuragane and Yuri Hime. I did think it was funny that Rian and Kaori obviously started teaming with the idea of going for the new blood tags, and then they just lost. I was like, oh, you know what? They'll probably just like put them into the finals. But listen. Here's the reason I'm okay with it, because it means Aya Sakura gets a title match, and at this stage, that is really all I care about when it comes to new blood. So I won in the end, despite assuming Rion and Kaori would get the win here. I just kind of thought Kaori would roll up people to get them to the titles, but that was not the case. They lost in round one, and we ultimately led to the single night tournament final, which was Aya Sakura and Yuna defeating Rana Yagami and Hina, which also thought was an enjoyable match. I think Aya Sakura actually had a very strong couple weeks the past few weeks, and they're setting her and Hanako up to kind of create this rivalry, which they, really
Yeah,
showed
it's
in the Cinderella tournament presser. But it's also leading to the title match, which is on New Blood
yeah.
20.
I should have expected that they just win because, God, their title match is 2 days after their second anniversary of their pro wrestling career, where
Yep.
they both debuted on the same show.
Yeah, I
Um,
realized that too after I
so
predicted it
it's
last
it's
week.
kind of makes sense in terms of the intensity to show in the main event spot. Okay,
Mhm.
what can they do? The two can do. I don't know
2
if
years
they get
later.
the main event because well, I think Hina is facing Tabata for the future belt
Yeah, I do
sooner than
too.
later.
Yeah, me too.
But who knows when they're putting that on? They're
I
kind of
I
weird when
I
they're
could see
putting
them
title
throw
matches
that
on.
on the, final just because of timing, the, Cinderella final, just because they need to pack that show.
Yeah,
But if
and
not,
who
New
knows
Blood.
how long Tabata's there? Yeah, to be
Right.
fair.
I'm kind of
But
assuming Tabata's only here for so long, so that's kinda my thought process.
yeah,
I
her,
don't
her
know.
mother's also like on the next show,
Yes.
on the Cinderella show.
Yes.
So I think they're
Yes.
there for at least a bit. Yeah, but I thought the tournament was okay. The
Yeah, that's fine.
second semifinal was way too long. Like
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Yuria and Akira. They are promising rookies for what they are 10 matches in,
Right.
but I don't need them to go 13 minutes against Hina and
No.
Rana. Like Hina
They're
and
not
Rana
that
are
level.
Hina is a wrestler I really enjoy. Rana is also someone who can have good matches, but
Yeah.
they are not the exciting opponents you want for a rookie
Mhm.
because
Right.
they are very
Absolutely.
grounded and all of that, both of them, and someone who can just throw kicks and don't have a shooting
Yeah.
background like Yuria is like the wrong opponent for them to go that long. I
Mhm.
would have switched the two pairings. I think that would have made more sense.
Absolutely. I agree.
Um,
Um, I will say this just to follow that up. I did find it funny seeing Akira and Rana now in the ring together, because when Akira debuted, I thought there was a lot of similarity in the way they kind of went about themselves, and then actually seeing them in the ring, I was like,
mm,
okay, yeah, there's a lot of similarities here in the way they just kind of carry themselves. Not in the actual style they wrestle, obviously, because Rana's very kick based and so on, and Akira's still rookie mode, so we haven't fully seen what she's gonna be. But yeah, I agree with you. This match went way too long. should have been cut in half, and it would have been fine. Especially because Hina just won the future belt. Like, you didn't need this to go long. Like, Hina could have won in 6 minutes and called it day.
Yeah, and you could have added like 3 minutes to the Kurawa match instead.
I agree. Because I did think the other match was better, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the final in quotes was an enjoyable match between the four very solid wrestlers that you kind of hope big things for in Stardom's future. Obviously, Yuna's kind of getting positioned for the high speed belt, while Aya, Hina, and Rana are kind of future parts of the company. So I again had no problems with it. Sets up an exciting title match, I think, for the New Blood 20 show, which of course comes after Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako successfully defended the belts against Nanami and Himiko. So this was fine. I kind of, as expected, I don't think this match was like blow away or anything. I don't necessarily love the Waka Hanako team, but this is what we're doing. Um, I thought Nanami was good. I think Nanami's always good when she's around. Yeah, I don't have much to say here. Like, this New Blood show on paper was a little bit more exciting than the previous show, but at the same time, it was fine. It was New Blood. Unless Rena has a big match or Hina has a big match in the future, or the
Yeah.
tag champs are different. This is kind of where I'm settling for
I
now.
I think the Rice tag team, whatever they are called, I don't think anyone knows. They are okay as tag champs, and I think it's the best role for both of them because Hanako can. It's a much better role, a tag team for Hanako than getting paired with like a top 3 name in the company for
Yeah,
some reason that I don't think anyone gets outside of the fact that she's tall. um, and Waka tries in these matches way more than she tries in the house
she
shows or like at the
does. Yeah,
Pyrrhus.
yeah,
She
that's true.
actually wrestles, and that's you know it's
That
okay.
will be
Like
the
she's
one
she's a
thing I
solid
walk away
enough
from.
wrestler to she's a solid enough wrestler to carry these matches to something solid. Nanami and Himiko did fine. I
Yeah.
think that
It was a weird
Nanami,
matchup to do a tag
yeah,
title match for. Like,
I
when I
know.
remember when they announced the Nanami and Himiko, I was like, "What? Why?" I understand the Nanami part, but I was like, "That's the partner we're picking. It's fine."
I know
That's the
one
thing.
of Diana's retiring. Is it Himiko or is it the other one?
I think
The
it's
broke.
the
I think it's
at
the other
least
one.
the other one. Yeah,
Um,
I know who you mean. I just don't have
the
the name
Bora
in front.
K.
Yeah, she's the one retiring.
Okay,
Deborah K is the one retiring.
she's.
Um,
Oh yeah, okay. Never
but yeah,
mind.
this was the show. This is very simple. Um, like you said, it is nice to see Waka put a little more effort in on these shows. She's still not like a blowaway wrestler, but it's much better than what she does on the house show. So I will take that. I am excited though for Hanako and Waka to defend against Aya and Yuna. Um,
And the longer Hanako has the belt, the safer we are with a Hanako title push in the top 3 picture.
You are true. You are true for that. And she can keep the belt as long as she wants, if that's the case. Um, but let's get to the Cork and Hall show now because the Chiba show was never uploaded. Like I said earlier, it was announced that Starlight Kid will defend the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Konami after she made the official challenge on the Chiba show. That will be at the Cinderella Tournament final next weekend. So not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend. As I've said, and I'll say it here, if Starlight Kid gets a great match out of Konami, Starlight Kid is going to be my wrestler of the year. I'm just putting that out there. Listen. I have to say that because folks, Konami has obviously not been trying as much as she once did. And I've said that on this show. That is the reality. I thought she had a good showing in the tag match at Path of Thunder. I thought that was pretty decent. The story was obviously her taking out Kyoko Kotatsu, who is currently unavailable. Um, But I had to say that because I don't know what a singles title match for Konami looks like currently. I'm hoping that Starlight Kid, with the role she is on, can elevate it. And I'm hoping that Konami brings her working boots that we have seen in her previous Wonder of Stardom title matches. This is her 5th challenge for the title, by the way. She's getting up there. Hazuki's almost not alone anymore in the winless chase for that belt. Um, so yeah, that is the title match. That is the big selling point besides the Cinderella final. I had to say
This is
that though
going.
because I I,
This
I
this
have
is
so
going
much.
20 plus. This is going 20 plus, and I'm scared.
So I would be scared, but my trust right now in Starlight Kid is so high that I actually am very fascinated to see what this match looks like. Mostly because I'm interested to see what her title match looks like with the hate aspect continued. Right, we've gone from Rina, now we're going to Konami. I think that kind of gives some possibility to maybe Ruaka being the Cinderella winner. Maybe we do the trifecta there. We'll have to wait and see. And obviously, that's a big story if they go with that. I'll talk about that later. But I am interested in this match. I understand why it's on the Cinderella final every year. We have a big title match last year with Mike and Utami for the world title. But with Saya Kamitani
The
obviously busy, we can't be doing world title matches.
the
So,
big Utami versus Syuri match in 2021 that got the
yes,
5-5 from May was also the Cinderella final.
yes, it was.
I think
Um,
2020. Oh God, was this 2022? I think they had Himeka versus Syuri.
Yes, that sounds very correct. Yeah, 2022. And then
And 2023, they
2023,
sold with the 2 out of 3 falls match between Donna de Mondo and Cosmic Angels.
right. Yeah, that was a different one. But I am interested in this title match, and like I said, hoping that this kind of brings back old form Konami, one way or the other. But I believe in Starlight Kid. Quickly before we get to the actual cork, and I will bring up that Saya Kamitani successfully defended her Regina de Wave Championship against Yuma Oka at the Pro Wrestling Wave show. May Sarah failed in her challenge for the Wave Tag Team titles alongside Kohaku. Another boost in the attendance for Pro Wrestling Wave, which gives more credit to Saya Kamitani, who continues to be a very clear and apparent draw on the scene. Their Cork and Hall brought in 738 people, which is always awesome to see, especially for a company like Wave. Do you have any thoughts on this? Obviously, the match has not aired as of this recording, so I can't give too many thoughts regarding that. But it's always great to see something like this.
Yeah, I'm happy for them because there have been there had been rough times to Wave in the past couple of 2 years now, even
Yep.
longer. But in terms of especially how much traction they've gotten
Yep.
inside Japan and outside of it, like remember the time in 2021, 2022 when they had the Mio Momonos, the Miyuki
Yeah.
Takashi, some of them really running wild. They had a Suzu Suzuki versus Hikaru Shida title match
That did happen. That is
and
correct.
something like that. And then all of them left. Nozaki left, and now Miyazaki's retiring now at the end of the year. So it's going to be kind of rough for them continuing.
Yeah.
Like their only draw right now is someone from Stardom.
Yeah.
Saya Kamitani is drawing in the people, but at some point she's gonna drop the belt, and then
Yeah. She has had 2 straight Corkins now, rep or not representing, but wrestling for them where she won the title. Now this one, 735 the first time, 738. So a steady growth there and a steady continuation for her as their champion. Always great to see. And then, like I said, and like you said, kind of adds credibility or continued credibility to her drawing power right now. And now we will get to the Cork and Hall show. Obviously headlined by the big time loser leaves Stardom main event, but there was a rest of the show to talk about, so we will talk about the rest of the show. I'll give us this graphic for now, even though the graphic we have here will be up longer than the match itself. Anyways, let's talk about it. So the opening match was Aya Sakura and Akira Kurgane defeating Hanako and Yuri Hime. The continuation of Aya Sakura getting a win over a Hanako team, or the start of, I should say, after the New Blood tag title tournament win. She pinned Yuri Hime. Very simple opener, no problems here. Do you have any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I think they have done a good enough job between Aya and Hanako to tell the story between the two rookies now. Like, they have been pulled apart in terms of kayfabe positions, with Hanako doing the tech stuff and
Yeah,
Aya doing nothing, or like nothing in Starlight, but more in Sendai Girls.
I was gonna say easy,
Um,
easy. We got a trilogy coming up here.
she's going on free. Um, but now they are trying to put them together, which is important because you need these connections early on to build on them in the future. Because regardless how we view either of them, or how the companies views either of them, like, that match is a future red to white belt match if
Yeah.
everything goes correct, because
Mm-hmm.
you need them. Like if you build
Yeah.
them up early, then you're gonna do that. And they have been good together. Hime and Akira, we have said it earlier, they are just 10 matches in or something.
Right.
You notice with both, I don't think I've said my thoughts on them online yet. You notice with both that they are not the standout rookies that we have seen before with others, but they will get pretty quick. They will get better pretty quick in
Yeah.
different ways. I
Mm-hmm.
think once they get in their respective factions and then have actual tag team matches,
Yeah.
they will get there. I hope so.
Um, Worth just saying here with this Korakuen, I don't think this Korakuen as a complete show is necessarily something to write home about, but I thought the last two matches were great. So that's just worth noting here. You had Suzuki teaming with the CML duo of Tabata and Yuvia against stars Suzuki, Koguma, and Momokogo. The Suzuki led team got the win. My big takeaway from this match was, if it's possible, I'd have Tabata stay around for a while. She's young, obviously, and she's looking to learn. She's not even 3 years into her career. Um, so I think, putting her and learning from the Stardom crew is not a bad thing. It's good to see her in the Cinderella as well. And obviously continue to working a little bit this upcoming weekend. But I'd keep her around for like a month if possible, maybe longer. I don't know when the plan is for them to get back to Mexico, but
I think
um,
they've said it somewhere, but I need to look up.
okay. Well, I think as long as she is in Japan, she should be on these shows. Obviously, this roster is very um, over bloated at times. I understand that with how these cards go, but I still welcome outsiders, especially if they have a chance to learn, develop, and grow, which is always cool. Do you have any thoughts about these two?
I've
Specifically
seen.
Tabata.
Yeah, I think Livia is not going to play much of a big role.
No,
In Stardom, she's one of the, I would
long
say,
time vet.
CMLL women that got some kind of traction outside of the Tuxis and Waker crew.
Yeah,
She is good, but I think the focus here is more on Tabata getting the reps that she needs to improve as a young
yeah.
wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like someone, like I said earlier, she's definitely getting a future belt shot against Hina, and that's likely her big match that she will get. I'm happy with that. I mean, if Luvia is staying and if she's willing to drop falls because she has two belts, um,
Yeah,
I would love to see her going against like Mesa or something,
that'd be cool.
or
I'd
or
like that a
some
lot.
other champion. I don't think
Sure.
she stays long enough to get a shot at
No.
Starlight Kid or Kamitani.
No, no, no. But I think any beginning of a relationship here between Star and CML is also cool. Gives Momokogo a chance to head back there, obviously, which would be very cool for her. And maybe some other wrestlers as well. Next up, we had the Hate crew: Azusa Naba, Konami, Rina, and Raka getting the win over Natsupoi, Saori, Anou, Sayaka Kara, and Yuna Mizumori. I obviously there was nothing notable I thought in this match in terms of an injury, but we do know that Natsupoi is now injured, will be missing the upcoming weekend, and we don't know when she'll be back. So wishing her the best. She stuck through on this match, and then of course was very involved in the main event. So don't know when the injury happened, but rooting for her. Never good when she's hurt. Obviously, last year at the opening night of the Cinderellas was when she returned. So hopefully this is not that bad of an injury. Um, I thought this match, in terms of getting the job done, was good. They had Rina get the win. So right back on track post the Wonder of Stardom Championship match. She pinned Sayaka Kurara, which, if Sayaka Kurara is going to the finals of this Cinderella tournament, looking at the brackets, I'm not saying Rina makes sense as a potential final, but it does make sense as a potential final if they want Sayaka versus Hate. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Any quick thoughts here?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Like, it was one of
Yeah,
the better matches on the card, if like outside of the top two. And I think they've done something. They have figured out the hate match structure more and more. I don't think it's that much different from Oedo Tai, like some have been saying. Like, it's pretty much the same
sure.
thing, but a bit more crowd involved than Oedo Tai. That helps him a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, it's new, so
And
that
for Poi, I believe she limped into this match. So I thought, okay, they're using
yeah,
this chair shot to ride her out of the main event as well, but she was there, likely was needed for it,
yeah,
whatever. Um, but it's now the second injury they have done with an injury angle.
mhm,
I with Mina last month and now Natsupoi this month. I'm
mhm.
not sure about Kotatsu if that was like, the
That was an
submissions, if that
angle
was
because they
was it an
did,
angle?
yeah, because
Okay.
Konami kept it on post-match, so I
Okay,
figured that
then
was
then then
also
then it was the third injury angle they did to ride someone
yeah.
out who's injured.
But
Um,
I do think Natsupoi isn't like I think this is definitely, like, a real injury, like you said, like,
yeah, yeah, of course, of course, of course. What I'm
like
saying is
yeah,
they are doing the American type injury angles to ride someone out instead of just pulling them like they normally
yeah,
do. And it's a clear change. It has that Taro Okada is like pretty much the only one who does that in all of Japan with in the bigger
mhm,
promotions, because if there's an injury in another promotion, they just write him out and pull out a statement. But
yeah.
here it's like, okay, we're doing angles about it, and it helps hate, in my opinion, because
It does. It's always them, to be fair, so it does help them.
yeah,
Um,
you can see it as something negative as well, because you give them kind of the like the fans could see them, if this continues like that,
yeah,
could see them as a, well, they're too dangerous, and like not
right.
dangerous in terms of kayfabe, but too dangerous in terms of outside of
Yeah,
kayfabe. But you
yeah.
never know.
I Hopefully that doesn't happen, but, out of the undercard matches, aka every match until the title matches, I actually preferred this one over the rest,
Yeah.
which is funny because it was just a 9-minute match. Then you had God's Eye, Shuri, Saki Kashima, and Hina defeating Stars Mayu Utani, Hana, and Saida in 35 whole seconds. Saki Kashima celebrated Hina and then pinned Hana, and that was it. That was the match. So you would think that this leads to a Shuri Saki Kashima tag team challenge against uh the Goddesses of Stardom champions Wingori. That was my hopeful takeaway from this. If we're gonna have them lose in 35 seconds, specifically Hanan get pinned. Um yeah, I have no analysis for this. It's always funny when Saki Kashima gets the big few second win at Cork and Hall. I never have a problem with it. And like I kind of hinted at earlier, this show was kind of on a timer because the main event was set to air at a specific time on YouTube. So, kind of everything besides the semi main event was in what I felt like kind of rush mode, especially the first four matches. Obviously, it's easy to cut time when Saki Kashima was winning in 35 seconds, but
Yeah.
I just thought that was pretty notable on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. we will come to that later with the high speed match as well.
Yes.
But they have done
Absolutely.
everything they can to get to the to the main event match as soon as they can. Like they were still half an hour late or something, a bit more,
Yep.
but they tried their best
Yeah.
with everything they did, which
Yeah.
led to a I wouldn't say underwhelming curriculum, but in terms of Stardom standards, underwhelming undercard wrestling matches. But that was
For
the plan
sure.
pretty much.
For sure. Yeah. It's hard to say underwhelming Korakuen because of the last
Yeah,
two.
yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, at least to their new standards, you know, obviously Korakuens for a couple of years there were just shows. Um, but yeah, the undercard just had to take the back seat here. Let's finish the undercard here. Momo Watanabe, Tekla, and Natsuko Tora defeated EXV's Micah, Wakasukiyama, and Rian in 11 minutes on the dot. This match was to continue the feud between Micah and Tekla. Tekla pinned Rian. So there's that. And after the match, Mina Shirakawa made her return. I yeah, that's all I got. I
I
don't know when Micah and Tekla are having the singles match, but they could do it at any time. We can get out of the way at any time.
Yeah, they like as much as I've enjoyed hate in the matches itself, their
Yeah.
feuds are so boring at points. Like
They're
everything that
so
is not
long. They don't
Saya
end.
Kamitani, their feuds are going
Mhm.
ages. Like the Mina,
Mhm.
like do you remember when the Mina Tekla thing began?
No.
And also Crown Queen last year when she turned to join Oedo.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
heading
that's a
now
good
at
one.
year one with them two feuding. Like, and they
Oh
pretty
my
much never
god.
really stopped because Micah has been feuding with them for like since July now.
Yeah. Yeah, this has literally been Micah's entire feud, since she lost the belt.
Yeah, but not
On and
only
off.
Micah, but like every babyface in this company.
Yeah. Except for,
Tam is also like feuding with them since
Stars.
August. Yeah,
They
but
just they're
Stars
just
doesn't
here.
exist.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're just kinda here and vibing sometimes.
Godfrey is
Um,
also feuding with hate since like July.
yeah, with Konami and Syuri.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it that is the one, like, overarching problem in a company that is super hot and super enjoyable for myself, is that these underlying feuds that aren't Saya Kamitani connected, are just going on forever. Obviously, Saya Kamitani and Tam Nakano is going on a long time. I'm not saying that's not true, but they have like big major points, that continue the feud. Tekla and Micah, they're just fighting on undercards and teasing a singles match. And like you said, Mina and like that started with Mina long ago. My ask here is to just do the singles matches, please. I don't. I You have
And
the Okinawa show coming up. You have the Oda Award final for the Cinderella coming up. Like there are places to do these things. So just do them.
they have a tag team match announced for the Yokohama
Right.
Budokan show this week,
Yeah, it's
with
Mina's in
Micah
ring
and,
again.
and Micah and Mina against Tekla and Tora. And I would be surprised if they don't set up anything there and it's just a normal match because it's Mina's comeback match after the injury,
Right.
comeback after a month or so. Please just set up the singles match for Okinawa. Stack up Okinawa as much as you can because
Yeah.
it's your first time there. Give them something, Micah versus Tekla will be at least like not a right match that you can throw in like third to last. It's okay. Same for Tora versus Mina if they want to run it or whatever combination.
I could see them put one on each night or one
Yeah,
on the
something like that.
Cinderella final if they want to rush it.
Uh,
Because I don't think they need much because they have the Wonder match there plus the 3 tournament matches. But they may want one more. But Okinawa
yeah,
makes the most sense
we,
as
we
well.
need to move on because I think you're also expecting that Micah versus Hash is the also Queen
That's
main
my
main
expectation.
match. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that when we got to Queendom. I kind of have
but
my mindset on what the card's gonna look like now, which we'll talk about. That'll be kind of our fun conversation here. But let's get to the high-speed championship match. Meisera defeated Fukiya 2 out of 3 falls. The first fall was 47 seconds. The second fall was 41 seconds. And the third fall was a minute and 47 seconds. I have one major critique right now for this company is that I don't enjoy these high-speed rules. I am bothered by them. And this was like the ultimate. Do I think Meisera and Fukigen Death got the most out of what their match was? For sure. But at the same time, have they, you have them have time, they have a very good match in them, I think. I don't like the rounds. That is my big thing.
No, yeah,
Had you moved the time limit down to 10 minutes, that would have been fine. I would have had no problem with that. That is a Hazuki special after all. But no, this is just it's not enough time to have a match that makes sense. Like I don't know.
it
I don't love the rounds. That's my
it
biggest
also
problem.
speaks totally against the high speed in it because the matches just stop
Stop.
in the
Yeah.
middle. Like it's not long, but it's long in like 10 seconds or something, but
What's
it's
that
long enough.
dumb thing NXT has? The cup thing?
Yeah,
The
but they
cup thing?
dropped it. Yeah, Heritage Cup, but they dropped it
Oh,
because
they dropped it? Okay.
Lexus King said no, I'm wrestling singles match with it.
Well, either way, my point remains. Like when they had those rules, they always stopped the match. Right? So like but that was 5-minute intervals, I think.
I think it
This
was
is
like
just
30 seconds or so
all right.
intervals.
Well,
And no, no, no,
well,
no,
I
no.
mean
Like
the
3 minutes or
round.
something, and then 30
Yeah, the
seconds
rounds were like 3
break.
minutes.
Yeah,
But like this isn't even that long.
yeah.
Like this it's against the high speed. And I'm listen, I said it when they introduced it. It's a trial. If they treat it as a trial, I'm cool with it. But after 2 matches now, I'm not sold on it. This one was kind of the problem of kind of what I saw because when I see these 2 wrestlers in there, I'm like, they can have a capable match. They can have a very good match. And I feel like we're just limiting May Sarah as champion now,
Uh,
which is a shame.
yeah, I'm waiting for the Unimon match, and then I will
Yes.
decide my state on it because
I think that's
the
fair.
Unimon match is going to be the big blow-off match for Mayster's run in the high-speed division, and it's coming
Yeah.
soon. I don't know if they're going to run it on Yokohama Arena or some wherever because they're weird
Or
where they're
Korakuen.
running matches.
Yeah.
But maybe even America because they're weird. But
I could see that
um,
too.
but that is like going to be the match where I decide how I stand with the rules because
Mm.
if you can't run a great match out of Uniman versus Meisera that had
Yeah.
a fantastic Hurricane Hall main event that went like
Right.
13 minutes in October,
Uh-huh.
then you're gonna change the rules again. And
Yeah.
I don't care if you're
I think that's
just
fair.
going to walk back or something, but if that doesn't work on the level that the
Yeah.
past match between Meisera and Unimon it
Yeah.
works even close to it, then you're gonna change it.
Yeah, again, since the start of this, I said, okay, if you're going to do 3 rounds, you have to do 15 minutes. If you're going to do 10 minutes, you have to do no rounds. Like this is the difference. I feels like we met at a point that just makes this all the more difficult. And again, I am all for trying new things. They've tried a lot of new things as of late. I just don't think this one's making it, but I'm in agreement with you. I will wait till the Una match because of their chemistry and what they've done before. Um, if that doesn't work, then yeah, it's time to scrap it and maybe restart with a potential Unimizumori title reign. I think that's kind of the best way to, maybe start anew. Um, so there's that. But the match itself, I can't really give much thoughts other than they did good for the time they had. They didn't have much time. So there's that. Um, yeah, cool. Let's get on to the semi main event. The semi-main event was the Artist of Stardom Championship match. It was Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, Starlight Kid, defeating Lady C, Arana Yagami, and Tomoka Inaba. I thought this match was great. This was so much fun, so enjoyable. The best performance I thought of Lady C's career by far. I thought Tomoka and Starlight Kids previews, we have been kind of teasing that match. We haven't got there yet, but we've been teasing it. I thought Miyu and Rana Yagami added a good addition to this match as kind of the third for their team. But it was really about Lady C and Azumi. Azumi was bumping her butt off for Lady C, and they continuously went back and forth. Very good chemistry, I thought, between these two. And it's a reminder of what the Artists of Stardom championships can be through the first two Neo Genesis title matches. Obviously, the first one is the highly regarded 5-star match from Dave. The first women's match to get 5 stars in years, which is very funny. But I think when you walk away from this match, you kind of applaud what Lady C accomplished here because, again, this is someone who has obviously been working and working and working on the undercards to get better and just get a shot, any shot. And I thought here at Korakuen Hall with the crowd screaming her name, she gave the best shot she could. Azumi won the match with the numero uno. Like I said, really great match. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, the main event's kind of the big talking point from the show, but if you haven't watched it, I do think this match is worth going out of your way to see.
Yeah, and it's that just shows the points we have been making for the past few months that you just need to give the artist belt spots and it will work regardless
Mhm.
who you put against them. Like you at least get a good match out of it because Stardom have been good in trios matches historically, in my opinion. And with these three as champions, with Miyu, with Azumi, and Starlight Kid, like what can go wrong really? Especially at a solo Korakuen with an opponent with Lady C in the focus that has like this history with Azumi, and it worked like
Mhm.
5 or 6 minutes at the end, and it worked
Yeah.
fantastically. The crowd bought it really well, and she did the choke slam to Starlight
Yes.
Kid that she also did in the cage match, in the
Mhm.
Oedo Tai vs Queen's Quest cage match that got a big pop back then and worked even better this time.
Yeah.
So she looked great in it, and I think Alex has said it like for the past few months now that she has been really going on the house shows, and now finally was able to show it in a bigger match that
Mhm.
hopefully will help her get. I wouldn't say like champion level, but regular title challenges
Yeah.
in the trios, maybe even tag title scene because why not?
Mhm. Yeah. It's a pleasant surprise, I think, for anyone who may not be watching the Lady C undercards from house shows. I
Lady
think if
C
you,
Mina, that's the truth.
yeah, I think with Lady C, you just see someone that's kind of, and I think it's someone that you can appreciate that literally has never given up. She's continuously went back out there time and time again. For the longest time, she was just the girl who lost, right? And now she is someone who you could put into an Artist of Stardom title match and can shine. And that's really
Mhm.
all you're looking for, right? You want to see her step into these title matches. And like you said, this is what the artist belts are for. Um, this is what you want to see from the artist belts. You want to see random combinations from factions go against a strong trio of champions, and that's exactly what we have here. This isn't, by the way, a shot at the previous champion, the Cosmic Angels. It's mostly just a shot at not defending the belts, which because they had the Wonder Stardom champion and the World of Stardom champion at the same time, it was never going to work out. So while you do have the Wonder champion in here, I would continuously put the artist belts on Korakuens, on you know the Okinawa show. I'd
Okinawa,
put it
yeah.
on. Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially if you have kid, and even if you want to have kid defend one night, you do it night one. That's the beauty of the two shows because she's gonna wrestle twice. So why not have it? You don't have to have her be the focus. Obviously, you can have the focus be between Miyu and someone, if whoever beats Miyu in the Cinderella, perhaps, to kind of get there. But yeah, that's kind of the beauty of the artist belts, and I really just enjoyed everything about this match. And like I said, the best performance of Lady C's career, worth going out of your way to see. If you've invested in Lady C at all, if you've followed Lady C at all, after all these years, this is the match you want to see from her.
Yeah, Lady C just from my perspective, she's like the first rookie debut that I saw in Stardom.
Mm.
So it's
Mhm.
kind of cool to see her now, how far she has gone in the time.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
believe she was the first rookie I saw. Um, because
She was the
she's
first
like,
rookie for a long time too.
yeah, and until then it was like the next one was finally enough Mia Masaki in Stardom.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
like seeing her like just shine is cool. Like that's
Yeah.
just cool. I think Tomoka and Starlight Kid had good interaction that shouldn't be underestimated because they worked the middle stretch and they are very clearly building to something there because
Yeah. They've been doing it for
Takamichi.
months now.
Yeah, but Takamichi Noku gave Tomoka the Queen of JTO belt back, and he only does it if he wants to protect her, and it also means that she's doing something big. So
Yeah.
she's likely
Sure.
getting white belt shot soon.
Which I'm looking forward to. I don't know how we get there. I don't necessarily think it would be for the Yokohama Arena show. But we'll see. We'll see how they make the decision. It could be. It could be, but I'll give my
I mean,
thoughts
maybe
on
it just decide, Tam's size is so big, it doesn't matter what we put under it.
that is half my fear. But I do have I have a card in mind that is big even with that. But let's talk about it. Tam Nakano versus Saya Kamitani. Loser leaves Stardom match. Obviously, like you said at the very top of the show, probably the most hyped Stardom match, the most talked about Stardom match, um, amongst just outside of just the Joshi sphere. Everyone was talking about this going into it. Everyone was talking about it during the match, and everyone's now still talking about it and the fallout from the match. I gave Stardom a ton of credit for putting this show up for free on YouTube because, duh, like you're putting your two big stars in the big main event up for free at Korakuen Hall to get eyes on the product. Getting eyes on the product is always a good thing. And doing so with these two in this match just proved to be an absolute home run for them. No matter how you feel about the post match and everything that fall and comes from it, this match is tremendous. Truly. Like it is a fantastic match between Tam and Saya Kamitani. One of the best matches of the year, I think. And as good for me as any match in their series. They've had a lot of matches. They've had a ton of matches, actually. But this is up there with any of them. My favorite before this was the Stardom World Climax match. Remember Stardom World Climax back in the day?
That
That
was
was always my
2022, right?
yes, it was. That was always my favorite. That but this was everything you need, right? You need the drama, you need the excitement, you need the packed Korakuen Hall crowd, just something that's unmatchable. And I've watched Saya Kamitani now do this twice in a span of a month, right? In a sold out record crowd for Stardom at Korakuen and just absolutely crush it. The match itself had all your big bumps and bruises. Saya Kamitani hitting the Hurricanrana to Tam off the apron down to the floor. That was a nasty bump. Tam hitting a suplex on Kamitani from the middle rope. It's nice to see Saya kind of, and I said this during the Susan match, which is why I loved it so much, but we've seen Saya kind of get rid of those past fears. Those are gone, right? She's just very confident in taking these big spots. And, the suplexes are always very safe, which is good. Um, and then you have obviously the continued Cosmic Angels and Hate fighting on the outside and in the ring. At one point, Tam hits the Violet Screwdriver, gets a near fall. Saya Kamitani does kick out. Um, she had hit a Star Crusher earlier. There was a kick out there. It all works your way to the Twilight Dream, which she hit on Saya Kamitani. And as Daichi is going to count three, Natsuko Tora broke the pin up. And that kind of plays to what we'll talk about in a little bit here. Um, But that's when the all-out fight happened in the ring. It got messy. By the time it was all cleared out, Daichi was nowhere to be found, and Natsuko Tora smashed Tam Nakano in the back with the pipe. Then Sareee Kamitani crushed her in the head with a steel chair, hit her with the spinning star crusher, and finished up with her variation of the Kamigoye, where she does the big boot instead, with emotion in her eyes, which is very notable here because there was clearly some thought process of Sai of maybe I don't want to do this before ultimately saying, screw this, I'm going to do it. Does it, pins Tam Nakano, and rids her from Stardom for 3 minutes, which we'll talk about here in a second. What were your thoughts on the match, Peps?
Yeah, I think I tweeted it instantly after. That was fantastic. And I think you have said it the best. It's their best match
Yeah.
in terms of everything because they have
Mhm.
conveyed the intensity and the stakes in the match really well, the emotions that have been always pretty much what made the Tam Nakano special, where big focus here, and it worked perfectly to the strength of the both. The spots were huge, the spots were big, and I'm wondering what they are going to do in 7 weeks to top this because you
Yeah.
gotta top this. And their matches have always the problem for me that they're working the same match like every time they step in the ring. They pretty much work the same match spot, pretty much spot for spot. Like the big Frankensteiner to the outside is a spot we have seen, I think, twice now in the matches. Um,
Mhm.
I think it was the World Climax one that you mentioned,
Yeah.
or it was in Dream Queen in 2021, one of them. And that goes on with the spots in general. So I wonder how they will change up something because, in my opinion, they need to change up something after this match because you can't run the same match again. That will be interesting what they're going to do, and that's what fascinates me the most about like the next fascinate me the most about the idea of running it back, and also what makes this one so good because it was pretty much the best of the best they've done in terms of spots and all of that stories they've told
Yeah.
in the past 4 years or something like that. So I'm interested to see how they're going to play off the match in ring wise.
Mhm.
And for this was just great. I think it was the best women's match I've seen this year. One of the best matches overall I've seen this year. If it wasn't for Goto and Zack Sabre, but that's just different. Can't compare it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm interested. Yeah, I thought it was great. It was Kamitani's best performance ever, in my opinion. Like feel
Yeah.
face doesn't matter. Her best performance
Yeah.
by far.
I think this was a complete Saya performance for sure. Um for what it's worth, it is my number 2 or 3 match of the year. I haven't decided yet. The only one that's over is Starlight Kid and Rena, but everyone knew that because of how much I talked about it last week. Um Last week? Was that last week? Holy shit. Um, that
Yeah,
was so much has happened since then. But yeah, that was last week. But this is, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I think you're absolutely right. This is probably Kamatani's best overall performance as a professional wrestler. She was just so in her, she's so I feel like I need to talk about Saya for a real quick second here. Um, Obviously, I think there is multiple discussions to be had about what she's become. Obviously, we talked about with Wave as a draw. Obviously, we've talked about it as Stardom as a draw. I remember when she turned heel, and I was very against it because I just thought she was going to be this amazing baby face. Coming off of everything, right? The Queen's Quest and obviously the fan interaction and the Utami stuff and the injury and all these things just felt like she was naturally going to be a great babyface. And they obviously pivoted to make her a heel. And while it took some time, and I will not back down from that, I do think it took her time to figure it out. But while it took some time, she has not only figured out, but she is thriving like never before. I watch Saya Kamatani in these big matches, and I see someone that is not only confident but is aware of how great she is. And I think that is a scary mix for everyone else. Um, and I think that's why she's so popular is that obviously, yes, the charisma is jumping off the page and all these things and aura, blah, 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 all the words you want to describe, sure. But when she puts in a performance like this, when she puts in a performance like the Susan match and is coupling them all together and telling this story, it's hard to ignore. It's hard to not appreciate what she's doing. I will continuously eat it on how wrong I was about her turning heel. And that's fine. I have no problem with that because I'm happy to be proven wrong by someone who right now is at the top of her game. She's figured it out, and I think turning heel has really helped her because obviously when she came back from the injury, she wasn't going to be the same exact wrestler. But it does feel like she's kind of bringing back some of the Daredevil esque aspects of her game, but not to a level where it is the only game she has. I think she's now a little bit more grounded, using a little bit more strikes, and just really a complete great competitor. So I just wanted to give credit to Saya Kamitani here.
Do you think
Oh,
she's
she
hitting
did.
the Phoenix Splash in Yokohama?
That is currently my thought process. Either the Phoenix Splash or the 450. Obviously, Phoenix
Because
Splash means more, but
she
um,
should, based on the
yeah,
fact that if you run a retirement match, you gotta go with a finisher kick out, in my opinion.
yeah,
Out of
yeah, I
the
agree.
spinning one, the spinning stock
Yep.
crusher.
I think the Phoenix Splash is absolutely in play for that match. It should
And
probably
she
be
teased
what
it in
ends
Dream Queendom,
in.
yeah. So
Yes. So that kind of brings us to the aftermath here. And then credits to Tam as well. She was great in this match as well. I don't need to always everyone else in the
she has a
world can.
great year so far.
She
When
has. She has. Right now, my top, yeah, she's just having an incredible year. Her, both her and Saya Kamatani are in my top three wrestlers of the year. So
yeah,
big
it's
credit to them.
female for me is Tam, Sareee, Kamitani.
Yeah, an incredible run for both of them so far, and obviously it'll all end on the 27th of April because Saya Kamatani grabbed the microphone as Tam Nakano was leaving Stardom forever. She would have been gone forever. Um, and said, I will give you one more opportunity. Yokohama Arena, All Star Grand Queendom, career versus career match for the World of Stardom Championship. And I think the best way to look at this from the perspective is I have no problem with anyone that has a problem with the fact that this stipulation was kind of thrown out the window. Um, in some ways, obviously, I know her contract was terminated, so they are living up to it. I get that. Um, my whole thing was I would have let it breathe just a little bit, but at the same time, with all the eyes on Stardom on this match, right? You have all these YouTube viewers, you have all these people talking about it worldwide. How can you fault them for being like, hey, we're doing this one more time? Both of our careers are on the line, and it's going to be at the biggest show of the year, the show they want 10,000 people at. I can't fault them for that. I understand some people are going to be sour about it and sour about false advertising or whatever that is. I get it. Because my instant reaction was like, LOL, like we couldn't wait. But I thought about it and I was like, it makes all the sense in the world to do
Yeah,
this. And for anyone, and to the stipulation itself, because everyone's like, why would Saya Kamatani put her career on the line? Fair question. She said it's a determination to prove that she just wants Tam out that bad. I'll tell you why. Because you need to tell the world that Tam Nakano is retiring. That is what you need to do. Because if this is title versus career, there's a good chance Tam wins in a lot of people's minds, right? But if you're selling this as this is the last time you may ever see Tam Nakano or Saya Kamatani in kayfabe, but no part of me sees Saya Kamatani retiring. Um, if you're telling the world this is the last match of Tam Nakano's career, that is going to boost that show, boost the eyes, boost the ticket sales. It's going to boost everything. So that's why they're doing it. That's why I'm fine with it. Um, I understand any backlash regarding the stipulation again being thrown out the window. minutes after. But for me, I understand why they did it. I understand with all the eyes on the show why they did it. And it sets up for, like we said at the very beginning, probably the biggest match in Stardom history at Yokohama Arena.
I think you have described it perfectly. Why it's the best. Why it's the best thing they did. Just get it out of the way, because you should always strike the iron when it's hot. And doing it like a week after what my pitch was originally like an elimination match between Cosmic Angel, so that's how they get it back or something like that.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was like, okay, I'm unsure if Tam is retiring, but now we got to sip. It's pretty much obvious
Right.
Tam is retiring, so I get it, and I get it out of the way when they have like 1,600 in the venue and 60,000 on YouTube, and
Yeah.
God knows how many people watch it in other ways. If
Yeah.
it is the Sun World or whatever. So I totally get it that you run it in, and you know, I think no one ever expected, even if you are not into Stardom that much, I don't think anyone expected that the match between those two in Korakuen Hall just 8 weeks before the biggest show of the year is ending in anything other than, okay, they are running it back. Like, they are
Yeah.
not ending
For
the
sure.
biggest feud, and they have a Korakuen match that they put on for free. They are not doing that.
Yeah.
So for
No.
me, it was always like, okay, just how do we get there? And I think they could have done a more creative way, whatever.
Sure.
But Saya just going out there saying, okay, I have not enough. I want you gone.
Yeah.
Whatever, to me,
It,
I accept it the way it is. I accept it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but
sure.
I can accept it in a way to that I always saw the match to say, okay, that's just a way to get to the next step. That's why I'm not
Mhm.
that mad at it.
Yeah, it is a to me it's a understandable decision, and if you want to play to the story itself and why Saya Kamitani would do it, it is the overconfidence that both of them have had throughout this feud. Obviously, Tam had the overconfidence after the Carrara match to say, I don't want just a world title match. I want to get rid of you from Stardom. And she went with that instead, and she failed. Now it's kind of on the other hand, where Saya Kamitani is overly confident and wants to get rid of Tam Nakano once and for all, so she's willing to put her career on the line. While it's a very silly idea, it is the idea that these two have both had, where they've put themselves on the line heading into the next big match. And there is not a bigger match than this one that this company can run for Yokohama Arena's main event. Just plain and simple. Because of the story, because of
It
how
would have been so stupid if the main event was any other match in this one.
absolutely,
Totally stupid.
absolutely. And that became very apparent once they reheated the feud. Right after the Suzu match, when Tam kind of stepped back into the spotlight, it's like, okay, we are building there. How do we get there? And they've went a very creative way, which has included an incredible match at Korakuen Hall, and they sold out Korakuen Hall. And now it is career versus career. I said last week when I was trying to predict like how would this match go, I said Tam loses, and how would they get her back? They went very simple, obviously. And she's technically not back again. I understand her contract was terminated. Um, but how would they get her back in the fold for that match? It made it very simple. I said at the time I didn't think she was retiring from the first match, but there was always the possibility of the second match, and that, of course, is the direction we're going. So let's quickly now here talk about the press conference. So there was a Cinderella tournament press conference. We'll talk about Cinderella tournament here in a little bit. Well, I will, with special guests, of course. But um, I think when it comes to this press conference, the main things to take away from it are obviously the contract being terminated. So they're staying to the rule, technically, right? In kayfabe, Tam
In
Nakano
some
no
way.
longer belongs to Stardom, but she will continuously wrestle on every Stardom show until uh, Queen.
And they are selling her merch.
They are selling her merch, and she's having a triumphant homecoming show. But besides that, she is technically a freelancer now. who doesn't want to work anywhere with Stardom. My actually only one problem with all of this, funny enough, is her quote to Tokyo Sports, like right after the match. Her quote to Tokyo Sports was along the lines of, "Oh, well, I was never going to wrestle for anywhere besides Stardom. I wouldn't, the 2.5 billion from WWE. Nah, I wouldn't do that." And it's like, okay, you're just trying to make Saya look dumb for putting her career on the line right now, which is fine. I don't know if we needed to go that far. Like, I understand your emotional, Tam, but it's fine. It was just a little funny. I did laugh at the 2.5 billion because it made WWE fans mad, and I thought that was the funniest part of it all. I was like, I don't know how that's so funny. Like they're that bothered. Um, that's just good stuff. But the press conference made the match official. The most important part is that there will be no seconds allowed. So to keep away from, if you look at this match, it was hate that cost Tam the match in the end because uh she was on the brink of winning before Natsuko interfered. So Taro Okada announced there would be no seconds and there would be further rules announced down the line. So we'll have to wait and see what that means. But what are your thoughts on the presser now that we have the match set in stone? Career versus career, World of Stardom Championship, no seconds, probably more rules by the end. What are your thoughts overall, Peps?
I think it's the best match they could have run with the best step they could have run. Personally,
Yes,
if one of them is really retiring, I never buy retirements in wrestling
that's
because
fair.
I think that I think it was Shinya Hashimoto who had like retirement or like if he loses he must retire match or something. He was like back 6 months later. So I
Yeah,
it doesn't automatically mean that Tam, who's
they're
likely
retired forever.
losing, will retire forever. Maybe she comes back in 2 years because she heard that Stardom's running Tokyo Dome and she's main eventing it. Because
Mm,
who knows? But it's the best way to tell. Okay, this is Tam's retirement because everything they have done in this feud pretty much speaks for okay, Tam is winning this third match. Like she got screwed over twice. Now has her third match, and now her career is still on the line. Like you have said it, tied of his career would mean everyone thinks Tam is winning.
mhm.
Career is career with her contract being terminated, and nobody really knows how she would get another contract because
Yeah,
they've not said that. Tam has said that she wants to earn another contract back if she wins the match, but Tam says a lot, and what they are going to
it
do
does say a
anyways
lot.
is something else. But now they are in the position where they've told their fans, okay, Tam is retiring. Please come to the venue because it's the only way they can somehow top the 5.5 thousand that they had in Yokohama Arena in 2023 when they were at their hottest, pretty much
Yeah,
similar level to now. And
right.
what I need to remember, people, what kind of stuff they had on the first show that sold 5,000 tickets, and they
Yeah.
want to sell double with Tam's retirement. Um, they had Himeka's retirement. They had
Yes.
Mercedes Monet facing Magi Watani in a dream match for many, like even in
Mhm.
Japanese audience. They had Mina Shirakawa storyline that
Yep.
ended there with her winning the white belt.
Mhm.
They had, and that's something people underestimate, Fuwa-chan on there,
Yeah.
a huge celebrity who later, like 1.5 years later, wrestled in a sold out Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a match, but they sold it as a
Right.
match.
Sure.
And then, of course, they had Tam Nakano vs. Julia, which is maybe the hottest feud they ever had with now Saya vs. Tam. Like, that drew 5.5K. And if you want to top that, then
Mhm.
telling your audience Tam Nakano's retiring is the only way to do that, in my opinion.
I totally agree. I I think that is or it's a plan that makes a lot of sense. It's something that if Tam Nakano is indeed ready to retire, which mind you, if you have followed Stardom, if you've followed Tam Nakano long enough, this is not a new thing for her. She has brought up retirement so many times over the past couple of years. I remember when she won the Wonder and she said she's going to retire in a year and a half. She won the Wonder in 2021.
March 3rd,
and
2021. Yeah, 4 years
and
before the
she,
match, she was kicked
in
out of Stardom.
fact, did not retire.
Yeah.
She also talked about when she injured her knee, obviously at the end of 2023, that she was thinking about retiring as well. So now we are here, and the retirement is on the line, and I think many people expect it, with it being a career versus career match, and that's why you make it a career versus career match. But since you brought up Queendom and how they got to that record breaking number, I don't think you can just focus on the one match. While I do think that Tam and Saya will do the majority of the heavy lifting for this show, I do think that you need to have more. Obviously, it can't just be they can't follow the core like what they do for most pay per views now, where it's like 2-3 matches and then the rest is undercard. This has to be a full on massive card, just like the last time they ran Yokohama Arena. Um, I think for me, obviously, this is the main event. I think for the Wonder Star Championship, it shouldn't be the Cinderella winner. I think the Cinderella winner should challenge at Okinawa or Korakuen, like something other than that. I think for Starlight Kid, there's two matches that make sense. Um, for that show, you could either run her and Azumi against one another if you want to do that, or you can do the payoff story with Hazuki or
Yeah.
something. That's the
But
Hazuki one's my preference, but I don't know if they'll do it.
but do you not think that, like, are those matches big enough for Yokohama Arena? Like, in their heads, if they go all in? Because I think the realistic one is a rematch against Natsupoi,
That's possible. That's definitely
if she comes
possible.
back until then.
Yeah. I think Azumi or Natsupoi in terms of big makes sense because obviously they're rivalry and they're now faction mates, so it's different. Or Natsupoi because it's Natsupoi and Cosmic Angel's popular, all that good stuff. I think that's fair. I'm just speaking to, for me, the
Yeah,
Hazuki
yeah,
match does make a lot of sense because of what they told at the end of last year. But those would probably be the three options because I don't have them booked for any other thought process. So one of those three works for me. And then obviously assuming Poi can go by then, which I hope she can. And then from there, I think it's kind of clear. IWGP Women's Title rematch, Mayu Iwatani versus Saori. I feel like that is the direction. Um,
yeah.
After
It should
Saori
be.
presumably beats Syuri, that should be the direction for that show because Mayu has held this title forever, but Mayu is currently doing nothing. So it feels like we're just waiting to get there. Um, then Micah and Shiro Hashimoto, as you said earlier, or hinted at earlier. I think that is the very clear direction because they continue to have Micah and Hash wrestle, right? They did it at Sendai this
Yeah.
past weekend. They keep teasing the big singles match. They started at the beginning of the year. And you can put the Sendai Girls World title on the line by then if you feel like
I
it.
don't think it's the only match they will have. I think they're going to do a 50-50 with them, just like they did
Oh,
with.
100%.
And I think, and now we're getting into Micah-ism. I think Micah's winning the Senegal's World Belt in the Sabo Arena show, the big Sendai Girl show they have in August, and then drops it like 2 months later or
Sure.
something.
Yeah, do 3
Something like
matches.
that. Because
Yeah.
I don't think Stardom, like, Hashimoto's a big politics. Like, she didn't drop a fall to Syuri in
Correct.
2023. But Stardom is also like, they protect their top stars in a way where they always get the win backs. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they are going to do 50-50 with the Senegal's World title, or do a trilogy or something, and then Hashimoto wins it back. Something like that.
I could see
They
that
they
as well.
something like that. And that's going to start there because why not? If you want an
Mhm.
outsider on there, why not Hashimoto of all people?
Yeah. Hash
She
makes the
gets
most
she
sense.
will get a hype out of the Mecha Satomura retirement stuff, because she will
Yes.
be in a big match against her. So
So I am happy you bring up Mako because I did throw this around in my head. This is 2 days before her retirement. And as far as I'm concerned, she is as active as ever. She is doing matches here, there, and everywhere. If you want to have one final Stardom Mako Satomura match, this could be the show to do it. And who do you have her face? I think you'd have her face Syuri. It could be a tag if you want it to be, just because Mako's retiring 2 days later. She probably doesn't want to get banged up in a all-out war with Syuri. But if that is the selling point, is that singles match if they want it. I have pitching Mako one last Stardom match. I think we get it. I just don't know when. That makes the most sense though. It's Mako Satomura 2 days before retirement. Like that's a pretty big selling
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Do,
Shuri
do
makes the
you
most sense.
think? Do you think they continue the Konami Shuri stuff, or will they?
Yes, and that's my other kind of thought
Yeah,
is that that's very possible for that instead, which I I mean it to be fair, kind of goes with the theme. That was the match at All-Star Dream Cinderella once upon a time. It was the match at Queendom at the end of last year. Obviously, it didn't go the way it should have. So that is my one thing with Shuri. Maybe the Mako match is not a reality because they want to run her and Konami again at a big show. But I am going with the biggest card possible. And then there's, the obviously possibility of like Mercedes Monet, I guess, which people have thrown around. I don't
no.
expect it. But I will throw her out there
I
because why not? I
I
don't
mean,
really know.
it's
She
something
can face
you
Azumi, I guess.
it's something you should expect based on the fact that it just can happen, and it
Yeah,
happened
and she's
last time.
facing Momo this weekend. So the
But she
Stardom
has
connection is still
a
there.
she has a date in New Japan like 2 weeks later, I believe. And I don't think they're
Mm.
paying her twice in such a short period.
Yeah, yeah. It would be a matter of like more of a favor if that happens. Obviously she get paid, but like, to make it all happen. I do think that if it all went right, she should be on that
It's
show
not on
because
her.
again,
It's not
Stardom
on
get
her. Let's say it like
no.
that.
Yeah, I would put her against Azumi. I think that makes sense because that's a singles match they wanted. And obviously I just took away a lot of the people in the company with the card I just mentally put together. But that's kind of my thought process heading into the big show. Obviously, a lot of things could change. Obviously, we don't know, but they have their big main event, and that is all that matters right now. And they have pretty much 2 months to build to it now. So, and they've been building to it for months.
And
So they're gonna have 100 preview
it
tags. We're gonna,
yeah,
like
I'm unsure if I don't think Tam is working every show. I think she's working every show where she's not in another promotion, because she's
yeah,
clearly
she has a
using this
few other shows.
freelancer thing to work her friends in
Yeah,
God knows which company she has. She has friends in, like
yeah.
the actress girl's friends.
I
Maybe
know she
even
has
she wants to
the.
wrestle My Sakurai. Who knows? Like Tam wants
I
to wrestle
doubt that one happens, but
everyone.
it would be something. Yeah, but she is kind of gonna make the most of it, it seems
Yeah,
like, and we'll see what that really looks like. I know she's on the Hoda show, for example, coming up here soon, which we already knew about. We'll see how much more she wrestles other places with the retirement on the agenda, it seems. I will just say this as well, real quick before we kind of wrap up this conversation. The fact that Mako Satomura, Tam Nakano, and Ai Takahashi are all retiring within pretty much a month span is brutal for the scene. Like, no matter which way, no matter how you feel about any of the wrestlers, no matter how it is, that's a lot. That's a lot of star power gone. And
Stardom. Yeah, yeah. That's like
like, start. Here's the thing: Stardom gonna be fine.
yes, 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 yes.
You,
I
you know,
I
they're not.
I
They're
have a
not
fact
gonna like.
prepared for you.
Okay, I don't think
Did
like
you?
they're gonna lose popularity or anything.
Yeah.
Um, but no Tam Nakano is still a very big deal. She has long been the driving point. She has been the main event of pretty much every major show they've had, um, to the Yokohama Arena level or something like that. So that's worth noting as well. What did you have to say?
Okay. So with Tam likely leaving,
Yes.
the red belt scene is pretty much dead, in my opinion. Um, like
Currently,
it's dead already, in my opinion, but it's going to be
sure,
even
because it's
deader
been
when she
three
leaves.
people. Yeah.
Do you know how many active champions are still in the company once Tam retires?
How
Like
many
active former
active
red belt
world
champions?
champions?
Yes, still in the company.
3.
It's five, but that doesn't count in if Mayu's leaving or not. And one of them is Natsuko. And
Right. I always forget
uh,
Tora was a champion.
and another fact is, if Tam retires, only 8 names that have challenged for the red belt since Dream Queen in 2022 are still in the company. One of them is injured,
All right.
Cena.
Yeah.
One of them is signed with JTL. 3 were already red belt champions, and 2 of them are Momo Watanabe and Suzuki, who are losing every challenge.
Correct.
That red
Yeah.
belt scene is dead in the water if they're not
Yeah.
changing something real quick. And
Yeah. So that has been another talking point from people. It's like, okay, what does the World of Stardom title scene look like post Tam? I think there's some obvious like additions, right? Poi makes a lot of sense with Tam
yeah,
retiring. The same goes with Saori, one of the two, both of them make a lot of sense. I actually always thought Saori was going to get a title match before this eventual rematch with Saya Kamitani. I thought it made sense. That did not happen, obviously. Um, yeah, they have. So here's the thing about them: they have the roster to make this happen. They're just going to have to push people, and I have agreement with you that things do need to change for that. But again, that's a later problem. That is a post Tam potential world that they will live in. Um, but they would be smart to start kind of getting people ready
yeah.
now. You know,
I
so
mean, at the same time, we gotta mention that the white belt scene is as stacked as it ever been. So, like,
yeah,
they
I mean
need
the
to
white belt
elevate the
seeing
people
something
from the
new
white
every
belt
day.
scene to the red belt scene, and then it's going to be fine. It's just a thing that comes with
Yeah,
longer booking
I.
and more time to build up the
It's funny you
roster.
say that. I was actually shocked that Konami was still in the white belt scene when she challenged, just because I thought they would have potentially just moved her up because it seems they've gone with the youth of the company for that match, but she's always challenged for the Wonder, so it's not like a big shock. Um, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's a great point to make. I also would just put Syuri back into the scene, by the way. That's not like a crazy thing. She hasn't challenged for the belt since
Dream Queen in 2022. No,
uh,
2023. No,
no
2022.
2022. Yeah, she
Yeah,
hasn't been in the title scene since she lost it,
yeah.
which is absurd. She never challenged Tam when Tam had it. She obviously should have challenged Micah when she had it, and she didn't. Um, so yeah, I'd put her back in there. And there's
I
obvious
think
other names, but
I think the good answer is just let's kill the IWGP belt. I think that would
well, they
help
kind of
sometimes.
have. It doesn't really exist right now.
Yeah, but it blocks 2 wrestlers right now because Shuri's
It's
goal is
true.
only winning that one, and
Well, hey, if we
neither is Mayu.
give a wrestler that doesn't belong to the company the belt, it's kind of not here, right?
I mean, Noah has a smart idea to just give the belt to one, and the one is
Right.
injured. Now they are
Is it?
not defending it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see who has more defenses, the IWGP or GHC this year, considering Koki is out.
I think it's
Majority.
1-1 right now.
Yeah, it is, and Koki hasn't wrestled since the first one, um, which is very sad, obviously. But that is the case of those titles, and I do agree with you. I think, and I've been on the proponent of kind of just you got to get rid of one of them, and I wouldn't get rid of the world belt, obviously. Um, but we'll see whenever that decision is made. Sorry, she's probably going to hold it, and we'll see how many times she defends it. If she's allowed to defend it outside of Stardom, then that's a different case altogether. But we'll have to see.
I'm sure if she holds it, then she can defend it at a Sareee-ISM show.
Yeah, you would think so, but we'll see.
She's not defending
Even
it in New Japan.
no, and I don't really want her to. So Well, I mean, if she
Mm.
gets the opportunity, cool for her. But like, I rather her have her full length match than a 10-minute one. But that is that. Peps, thank you so much for joining me. I know we do this every time, but you can let the people know where to find you if they somehow don't know where you are already. Um, and anything you have coming up, make sure to plug it.
Yeah, you can find me under at peps_wrestling on Twitter, now known as X. I will do a lot of stuff on the road to Dream, also Count Queendom for Stardom, and other stuff I find until then because I have nothing right now going on in university, so I can chill my life. Thank you for having me, like always, Scott. It was a pleasure to talk to you for 90 minutes, even though didn't want to talk for that long. But thank you a lot.
It happens every time. I always say, "Oh, this will be short," and then I think I underestimate how much we were going to talk about the main event alone. So that's what I do. But it's always nice to have you on here. I always appreciate you coming on here. It's always a good convo, and obviously, best of luck to you. But everyone who is listening, whether it be on MP3 or the video, stay tuned. We're going to still talk Cinderella tournament, um, Sendai Girls, Marigold, Sareee-ISM, Barb Sasaki's Crazy Fest, a little bit of everything. So stay tuned, everyone. Thank you. Thank you to Peps for joining me for the first part of this show. Always great to get him on here and talk the wonderful world of Stardom. Like I said, later I'll have String Six Splash join me for more Stardom talk if you're over on the MP3 version of the podcast. If you're on YouTube, you can already check that conversation out. We previewed the Cinderella 2025 tournament that is up on the YouTube channel in its full video. So if you're listening on the podcast, if you prefer video, go check that out now. But if you're listening on podcast, it will be on the MP3 back half. So just letting you know there. But let's get into the rest of the wonderful world of Joshi now here today, starting with upcoming matches. We have a lot of upcoming matches this weekend that involve Stardom talent. That begins with AEW Revolution 2025. Kind of surreal to see this graphic, but it's awesome all at the same time. Mercedes Moné will defend the TBS championship at Revolution against Stardom's against Hate's own Momo Watanabe. I couldn't be more excited for this match. Their first match showed hints of greatness. I think that they have something even greater put together here now in an AEW ring. Their first match, of course, happening at Capital Collision last year in New Japan Pro Wrestling for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Now they run it back for the TBS title. I'm always excited for when Mercedes Moné steps into the ring with a Joshi wrestler because it feels like the matchups that we're supposed to be seeing her in. It feels like the matchups we want to be seeing her in. And honestly, it really always feels like she is making the call to get these matches to happen. And the fact that I am seeing this on a pay-per-view, and not only a pay-per-view, but AEW's biggest pay-per-view, is also very exciting. I do expect this to be another championship loss, unfortunately, for Momo Watanabe, which is a heartbreaker because Momo Watanabe has lost so many championship matches over the past year alone. But I'm sure she'll put together a great performance. And she deserves the world. And we'll see who's next from the Stardom roster in terms of potential Mercedes Moné opponents. Next up on Monday, some of the Stardom crew heads to Korakuen Hall for Barb Sasaki's 25th anniversary show, Crazy Fest. And it all starts here in a trios match. It'll be Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Saida of Stars. They'll team up to face Azumi, Starlight Kid, and May Sarah of Neo Genesis in a bring your own weapon falls count anywhere match. This should be a fun one indeed. I love obviously the fact that they're part of this show, Barb has put them third and second to the top, only behind the main event. So his appreciation for this Stardom for the Stardom roster continues to show here on his own show. It's one that I'm looking forward to. I'm very excited to see what these 6 can do with the unique set of rules. I think that they can have a lot of fun with it. So I'm really looking forward to this match. And then, of course, the big time, no DQ, TLC, death match. Suzuki returns to her roots, going one-on-one with Rina Yamashita in the semi-main event. This should be awesome. It should be awesome. I can't wait to review this next week. I don't know how far we're gonna get Suzuki, but she's been itching to get back into the death match sphere. She's been pretty open about that at times, especially after Micah and Natsuko Tora had their match. She kind of was like, "Wait a minute, hold on." So yeah, I'm excited for Suzu to step back into that world. Obviously, she is one of the very best at the death match when it comes down to it, and she gets to really put it all on the line. So I'm looking forward to it. And of course, Rina Yamashita is fantastic. So that is all on Monday over on New Japan World. So definitely lock in for that. But speaking of Monday, Monday is a day of celebration in the world of Joshi because, yes, of course, it is time for Sareee-ISM Chapter 7, and this card couldn't be more stacked. This card couldn't be better. I am so excited for this card. We do have one change, which we'll talk about here, but this is going to be another great show live from Shinjuku Face. You can check it out on SareeLive.com. Order the pay-per-view now. It starts off with the first 2 matches. First, you'll see Misa Kagura face Sha in the opening match, a continuation of the usual opening match for Sareee-ISM. Last time Sha was supposed to be on the show, she had to miss it. So, of course, Miku Kane filled in and faced Victoria Yuzuki. These two instead get to compete and should be a fun opener for the 2 young competitors. Next up, you'll have Jaguar Yokota and Kaori Ito team up. The 2 Joshi legends, they'll face Kohaku and Yurika Oka in the second match on the card. And then we kind of get into the big 3. The big 3 starts with Dash Chisako and Chi-Chi teaming up. They'll face Seedlings Sonori Hana as well as Seedlings Beyond the Sea champion Veni. You look at this tag match and you think of the great tag matches that have continuously happened at Sareee-ISM. I think the one kind of thing I walk away from Sareee-ISM is, wow, I miss Miyamoto, but we have the likes of a Dash Chisako stepping in. Yeah, okay, I'm in. I think this match is going to be great, has the potential to be the second best match of the night. Of course, it will be following the main event, which is just untouchable. But I do think this can have, if given the time, could be the second best match of the night. It is interesting seeing Chi-Chi on the other side of Veni. Obviously, they've teamed a number of times in Sendai Girls. But yeah, that is a match I am greatly looking forward to. It should be awesome. And then we have the semi-main event, the newly updated semi-main event. Originally, Natsupoi was set to be Miku Kane's opponent in the semi main event of this show, but Natsupoi unfortunately has been injured and she will miss the show. As a result, her tag team partner, Stardom's own Saori, will fill in for her, and it's a great fill-in, I would say. I'm very much looking forward to this match. Miku Kane obviously had a great showing at the last Sareee-ISM event, Chapter 6, against Victoria Yuzuki, one that got a lot of praise. Now she's going to step in there with with one of the top main event talents of Stardom, and I think that's very exciting. I don't know if it will have the same fire, just because obviously Yuzuki and Kane both young and looking to prove something. But Saori is great in these kind of matches. Great in these matches of playing or bringing up a rookie alongside her. So this should be very good. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. And then, of course, your main event of the evening. There may be no bigger match in terms of just pure amazing Joshi wrestling this year than this one. It will be Sareee going one-on-one with Syuri. I can't wait. It's been so long since we've gotten a true big time Syuri match. She hasn't challenged for the World of Stardom Championship since 2022, or she hasn't been in that picture. Obviously, she challenged for the IWGP Women's title at the beginning of 2024, but came up short. Sareee did the same and also came up short, which brings us to the story of this match. Both of them looking for redemption, both of them looking to get back to the mountaintop in their own way. But both of them eyeing the IWGP Women's Championship and, of course, eyeing Mayu Iwatani. Sareee has already said that after her tough start to the year, she is planning to use this match as the stepping stone to not only get back on track, but to get to the IWGP Women's Championship. Syuri, on the other hand, with her emotional promo, explained why this win needs to happen, why she needs to get to the IWGP title. This is as good as it gets, folks. This is a big time main event, boxing fight, whatever you want to call it. That is what this is. Everything regarding this match is exciting. Everything regarding this match is what you watch wrestling for. I cannot wait. I have had this match circled. I have had March 10th circled since the moment they announced this show and this match. It is everything Joshi wrestling is supposed to be. And I expect this to not only be one of the best matches of the year, I expect this to potentially reach levels that it's been a long time, especially for someone like Syuri, who has been just kind of waiting around. We know Syuri is capable of the match of the year type. She's done it time and time again. And we know Sareee is at the best possible level of her career. So, yes, I couldn't be more excited for this. I think whoever wins this is challenging for the IWGP Women's Championship at Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom. So let's just lock in. I do predict Sareee to win and get herself the rematch with Mayu Iwatani, but wow, what a curveball it would be if Syuri ended up getting the win. This match should be tremendous. And I'm just wondering how great it will be. Looking forward to reviewing this one on next week's episode. Sendai Girls had 2 shows this weekend. Unfortunately, the show on the right, if you're watching on YouTube, where were they? Let me just double check. They were in Fukushima. They did not air this show on Wrestling Universe as of this recording, so we will only be able to review the Sendai Pit show. But the Sendai Pit show brought its own punch, especially with the last 2 matches. Soy and Miyuki Takase was a fun one. You also had Zoned and Shin Sakura Hirota, as you would expect with Sakura Hirota. I thought the undercard tag of Ryo Mizunami and Yuri Suzuki versus Yurika Oka and Hiroyo Matsumoto was an enjoyable one as well. Maria going one-on-one with Dash Chisako. It's always great to see Maria get these opportunities. Ultimately, in the end, easy work for Dash, but there were a few moments in this match where I think Maria showed something very exciting in terms of her overall skill set and what she brings to the table that may be underappreciated. I just think with her, not only is she so creatively exciting, but I think she's just figuring it out more and more as time goes on. You know, she obviously, I know she's not Mio Momino, I know she's not Takumi, but she's great. And when she gets big matches or big singles like this, you kind of hope she could stand out a little bit more. It's not like one of those end all be all matches I think you got to go out of your way to see, but it was a fun exhibition type singles between the two. Then you had the semi-main event, Sareee back in action, teaming with Chi-Chi against Mika Iwata and Yuna. I thought this match was quite enjoyable as well. Sareee and Chi-Chi make a great team. I would seriously consider giving them the Sendai Girls tag team titles after the Yoyogi show. I think that's the direction we're going, assuming Red Energy can successfully defend the belts. Yuna had her chance to kind of step up. Obviously, how the story got here was that they wanted to face Red Energy, but Yuna wanted the match against the likes of Saori and Chi-Chi. And really, Saori and Chi-Chi beat her down a lot. But I thought the stuff with Awada and Saori was very exciting. That's a singles match we've been waiting to come back around to, I think, and they haven't done it yet, but I do think there's potential there to do it somewhere down the line. Overall, a enjoyable tag as Saori and Chi-Chi get the win and are currently, I think, on their way to tag team gold. And then your main event, I mean, it's Maika and Natsupoi versus Chihiro Hashimoto and Minami. What do you expect to happen other than some greatness? Hashimoto, man, I don't think we talk about it enough with Big Hash. How truly fantastic she is. Like I don't think there's ever enough talking about how great she is. Whether she was in there with Poi or Micah, she was putting on a show. Whether she was in there, with Minami or you as a tag team partner, it doesn't matter. She's putting on a show. You had some great back and forth between her and Natsupoi that we know is already great from their singles match quite some time ago. We also know that her and Micah have something built in based on their tag match earlier this year at New Year Dream from Stardom. Uh, they run into each other, they hit each other as hard as they can, and that is what it's all about. I thought Minami also had a great showing here against both Micah and Natsupoi. She is someone who continues to stand out even alongside the likes of a Hashimoto. In the end, Micah got the win with the Michinoku driver. Number 2, as you'd expect, but there was some great drama, and this was really just an awesome match. Well worth going out of your way to see if you got that Wrestle Universe account. I do think we're on our way to Micah versus Hash at All-Star Grand Queendom. They keep teasing it. They keep going back to it. Feels like the obvious direction for that show, and I'm quite excited for it. Unfortunately, I can't review the other show, so if you want to check out the results, go and do so on the JoshiInformer.substack.com. Full results will be over there, as always, for these shows. Next up, we're going to head to now Marigold to close out this portion of the show. Marigold had 2 shows this past weekend, and they have set us up with a pretty big upcoming week, which will be most of the talking point here. I'm not going to go through every result. I'm just going to go through the matches that stood out to me, and it starts with Victoria Yuzuki versus Rhea Seto. Victoria Yuzuki versus Rhea Seto was a match on paper that I found exciting. It's the reason I kind of gave a little highlight to it last week. And once they got in the ring, they reached the levels I was really hoping that they would. With Victoria Yuzuki, obviously, she continuously makes such incredible strides to the point where it's amazing how great of a wrestler she already is. And then on the other side is Rhea Seto, someone who I had hoped with the Nanae Takahashi match would start to take steps forward. And I thought this was her best performance to date. She continues to grow from that match with Nanae. She is kind of breaking out of the rookie only mode to really stand out inside the squared circle. I think for Yuzuki, this is a potential rival that you kind of hope for if Rhea Seto continues to develop. This match was, I think, without a doubt, the best of Marigold's weekend and well worth your time checking out as Yuzuki got the win. You then had the Passion Countdown beginning, starting with Nanae Takahashi going one-on-one with Chika Goto. I thought this match was quite good as well. Kind of what you'd expect from the Nanae matches at this stage. Not necessarily at the top of the list, must see, but I thought Chika Goto did a good job standing her own and having a quality match in there with Nanae. Nanae won with the figure 4 leg lock. Then we had a trios tag team match, obviously pitting against the 2 world championship competitors. Of course, Utami Hayashishita will defend the title against Bozilla at the Korakuen Hall show. This was hectic as you'd expect. Darkness Revolution kind of bringing everyone around the building and so on and so forth. But the bits that mattered, Utami and Bozilla were very, very good. I also just need to take a moment here to shout out Misa Matsui. She continues to be the best part of anything and everything Darkness Revolution. She just stands out in each and every match she has. Ultimately, Bozilla got the win with a high angle power bomb on Natsumi Shozuki. Next up, you had the Sunday show. You had My Sakurai team and Natsumi Shozuki to face Nagisa Nozaki and Misa Matsui. I thought this was a pretty fun, enjoyable match. Nothing blow away, but a simple tag that continues the story that Matsui honestly should be going for the United National title. I don't think there's any other direction I'd go right now. I think that's where she should be going. But I'm not having her go for it unless she's winning. But it feels like we're slowly getting to that point. Next up, we had another preview tag, this time Utami back with Victoria Yuzuki facing Bozilla and Chiaki. I thought this match, again, was a very simple to the point tag match, no complaints whatsoever, and again gets the job done. That's kind of the consistency for me here with this show or these weekend shows. You know, they're not all blow away. I think this upcoming weekend will be more down the more to what you're kind of hoping for and expecting. But these were just fine shows, fine house shows overall. And now we get to this weekend starting in Osaka. Osaka has some great shows on paper. So as you can see here, we have a big time passion countdown match. It will be Nanae Takahashi going one-on-one with Natsumi Shozuki. Obviously, I can't wait for that. Other matches on the card include Chika Goto versus Ryoko Sakamura. You'll see Rhea Seto team with Flying Penguin against Nao Ishikawa and Riara. Obviously, one of the big stories from this past week was seeing Nao Ishikawa taken by Darkness Revolution and now working under the Gigaton gimmick a little bit more so, which I think is building to something, which we'll talk about here in a second. You also have Victoria Yuzuki going one-on-one with Yuki Minami. But the big matches on this show are very simple. So while you do have the Passion Countdown in Osaka, you also have Arina Yamanaka making her debut. She'll team with Miku and Mai Sakurai, which I'm very much looking forward to here. This is Arina's debut as part of Marigold. We knew she was coming in. This will be her official debut. She's on both weekend shows. And I think they're well on their way to getting the win in this match. I'm fascinated to see how this one goes as well. Then you'll have the big time main event as Utami Hayashishita teams with Mirai to face Bozilla and Nagisa Nozaki. I'm quite looking forward to this tag as well. Feel like this could be kind of the standout preview tag of them all. So quite looking forward to seeing what these two teams bring to the table. But as I was kind of hinting at, the show on Sunday is even better as they head to Nagoya. So the undercard is as follows: you have now Shirakawa and Rhea Seto versus Ryoko Sakamura and Yuki Minami. You also have Bozilla versus Riara in one-on-one action. Arina Yamanaka continues to be part of the babyface side. She'll team with Mikuano, Natsumi Shosuki, and Chika Goto to face Chiaki, Misa Matsui, Nagisa Nozaki, and Megaton. But the two big matches that are very much worth talking about here is one, the big singles match between Mai Sakurai and Mirai. This was a real genuine shock when they revealed this last week. I said, oh, okay. Feels like we're on our way to a 15-minute time limit draw, but it also feels like this match can kind of serve as the official split between these two. Obviously, they were the first tag team champions and great tag team champions at that, but both of them seem to be going opposite directions in terms of factions and so on and so forth. So this feels like the way to make that official. But obviously, I'm very much looking forward to this match. And then, of course, your main event of the evening will pit tag team partners against each other again as Utami Hayashishita, the Marigold World Champion, goes one-on-one with the Superfly Champion, Victoria Yuzuki. This also feels like an opportunity to make their faction official. kind of the opposite of splitting instead of staying together. Obviously, very excited. This is a big weekend for Victoria Yuzuki. She got 3 singles matches, 2 of which are going to be standouts. This should be great. I expect Utami to win, obviously, as the world champion, as she should. But we are building, right? We are building towards a very interesting beginning for Marigold and their factions and so on. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And then on, I believe, Tuesday, the 11th, they will head back to Shinjuku Face, which will feature some big time matchups, but it includes the return of Kazuna Tanaka. Kazuna Tanaka has been out since since January, aiding and taking care of her back after taking 2 months off. She will return, and it won't be any easy match. She'll go one-on-one with Nagisa Nozaki. The other undercard matches on the show include Natsumi Shozuki versus Rhea Seto versus Ryuko Sakamura, and Mirai versus Yuki Minami. Other matches on the card are as followed. You also have Utami team with Chikagoto in what will be another preview tag between her and Bozilla, as Bozilla teams with Misa Matsui. Another way to sell that match. And then in the semi-main event, Chanyota is back. She'll team with both Mai Sakurai and Miku Ano. They will face the Darkness Revolution trio of Chiaki, Megaton, and Gigaton. This feels like, however, a potential spot for Gigaton, who was taken by Darkness Revolution, to turn and make sure she reestablished herself as now a Shirakawa. At least that's what I hope for. I don't need personally more of the Gigaton gimmick. I thought it was funny for what it was, but I want to see now Shirakawa as the babyface, unless she is doing the split personalities, and that is a fascinating direction. I'll give them that. But it's always good to see Chanyota back. And then your main event of the evening, it will be Nanae Takahashi going one-on-one with Victoria Yuzuki. This feels like the spot that we were supposed to see Yuzuki versus Saori Yamaoka for the Superfly Championship, but obviously with Yamaoka out with injury, who is very much missed on these shows, it will instead be her taking on her tag team partner, tag team champion Nanae Takahashi. Their first match last year at the first Marigold Field Forever show was very good. This feels different though. This Yuzuki has really leveled up, and Nanae is obviously in a spot where I think we should consider having Yuzuki win. Listen, I know Nanae in the Passion Countdown won't be losing a lot, and that's just the way it is. But Yuzuki is someone who they're building up. Yuzuki is someone who I think deserves momentum. She's facing both Utami and Nanae in the same week. I don't think she should lose both matches. I think a shock win, um, especially against Nanae, makes all the sense in the world. And that's the direction I'm hoping for. But I'm very excited to see this in the main event of this show. It's a great weekend for Joshi overall. But thank you everyone for listening. I always appreciate it when you guys join me and listen and continue to support the show. So thank you for that. You can check out the Joshi Informer Substack, the Joshi Informer .substack.com. It's up, ready to go. You can also check out, if you're not on the MP3 version, go check out my Cinderella preview with String 6 Splash over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Scott E Wrestling. But if you are still here on the MP3, wait, we are going to give you the Cinderella preview in full form, so don't go anywhere. But thank you everyone for listening. As always, if you're sticking around, just give it a few minutes or give it a moment. If you are listening on YouTube, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And until next time, so long. See you later.